Good evening, good evening, good evening. Come on in, my sugar woogers and my beautiful butterflies. Let's talk about it. Yeah, we need to talk about what's killing us, sugar. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you know better, you can do better. Hey, Kim, how you doing? Welcome to chatting with Ms.V this afternoon. Yeah, I'm on a little bit early this afternoon because I got something I got to do tonight. What's up, Catherine? How you doing? Y'all want to know what's killing you, huh? Okay, Miss V done did her research. She been doing it for about a week now. And we're going to find out what's killing us. Hey, Myra, how's it going? Okay. So I ain't going to take a long time waiting on people to get in. I'm going to just go on and they can catch the replay or they can come on in. But right now, we leaving Hong Kong. Okay, we done with Hong Kong. We done picked up people over there. We done been over there. We know about Hong Kong. Beautiful place, very expensive place. We know we met content creators over there and everything else. So let's just jump right into it and get on about our business here tonight because we don't have to stay on here all night to wait on folks to come in. Hey, Dominique, how you doing, sweetie? Welcome to Chatting with Miss V. And DeGale, how you doing this evening? Glendine, thank you for coming in with the roses. I appreciate you. So like I was saying, now wait a minute. What's wrong with this phone? Why is it looking like it's fixing to? Hold on, y'all, because it's not charging for some reason. Give me a minute. I thought I had the problem fixed here. That's what happened when you move around. Okay. I guess it's gonna hold up. We'll see. I ain't gonna be on here that long because I'm gonna probably have to do a put two part to this because I found so much research. Hey Prince, how you doing? Hey Jennifer Thomas, on this, and the reason why I chose this topic to talk about tonight is because of what was going on with me, waking up with all these aches and pains and all this. Yeah, I realize I'm getting old, but I shouldn't be waking up with no aches and pains and shoulder hurting on Sunday morning where you can't get your dress over your shoulder. That don't make sense to me. So I was like, okay, I keep going to all these doctors, and I don't really believe in a lot of Western medicine. I like holistic things. I like natural things to take. You know, if our forefathers did fine without all this Western medicine. If you look at TV, you won't want to take it when you see them commercials. If you take this, you could possibly have a stroke. You could lose your tongue. You no. So let's get down to some real stuff. The real Brooklyn is up in the house. So I know she gonna go along with this natural stuff. And where's Holistic? Come on up in the house, Holistic. Because Miss V finna tell you about this sugar. That's what's killing y'all. Sure is. You know, I always looked at people, larger people or people who were overweight. And the first thing they always say is, I don't eat that much. And I would always look at the people and say, how in the hell you got that fat then if you don't eat that much? Y'all, I beg to differ with them people, and I will apologize after doing my research. It's not that they eat too much, it's what they are eating. And sugar is your number one thing that's really taking all of us out of here. Okay, so let me hop in and tell you a little bit about it. First of all, like I said, we have because that is a good place to be because that's where a lot of the sugar originated from. If you go back and you read your history of the islands, they brought the slaves in on those islands. There's a lot of sugar being produced in those islands. In fact, I found that it was produced in at least these ones that I researched: Barbados, Martinique. If has anybody ever been to any of these islands? Grenada, Jamaica, St. Croix, Leeward Islands, and Antigua. That's a lot of sugar. Okay. So, first of all, your immune system is automatically related to your autoimmune system. So, I want to dive directly into this because of complications in my own body that lately I have been dealing with. We normally consume more sugar during the holidays. We can all agree to that. You're going to be eating them cookies, them pies, them cakes, and that's your number one killer is them soft drinks, which most of us have not left them alone. Yeah, you might have switched from the soft drink to the tea, but are you still putting that white, refined, granulated sugar in your tea? Well, you might as well drink a soda. Same thing, same amount of sugar. Okay. Now, depending on what area of the country you live in, we know we call sodas different things. You may call them sodas, you may call them pops, you may call them soft drinks, but it don't matter. You know them carbonated beverages that you buy, the Coke and the Dr. Pepper and the Sprite, the ginger ale, yeah, that. So let's just find out, how is this thing killing us? For the large part of most of our food becomes, for what I'm trying to say is, for the larger part of things, the food our bodies. Okay. And it's just a sad situation, because 9 times out of 10 we know better, but we got to do better. Okay. Me growing up on a farm, I really wasn't privy to a lot of fast foods, because of the time I grew up in. Fast foods were just coming into play when I was in high school in the early 70s. Okay. We got the McDonald's, we got the Wendy's and all this stuff in my little small town. And people weren't eating out in restaurants, because first of all, it wasn't like it is now. It wasn't a restaurant across the street, down the corner, around the corner, through the woods, everywhere you look. There would maybe be one or two, three or four in the town. And in my era, you still had blacks coming through the back door, which said colored on the sign. And when nobody taking you up in the back doors to eat them foods, even though they had blacks cooking in the kitchen, we ate at home. And that's probably the last generation, mine, that ate at home almost exclusively, because by the time my child came up in the 80s, oh, it's fast food everywhere. But I tried to stick to the tradition of cooking at home. Even though I worked 12 hours, 4 days a week, on my 4 days off, I would cook meals and I would put them in the freezer in small containers, dated, tell what it is. So when she got home and the lady was there waiting on her, all she had to do is take it out and pop it in the microwave. Well, to me, the microwave has been the best thing shaking since sliced bread, because you can warm up stuff much faster, but you still got to remember some stuff when you're using that microwave. You got to remember to cover that food. You don't want all that electricity, them waves, microwaves going through that food. Cover it up. Plus, it's going to splatter all over the microwave. Dirty in the microwave, then you got to clean out the microwave. So we're just gonna just stop and think about all this stuff for a minute. So we never ate processed foods, because my daddy was a farmer and most of the farm stuff was grown on the farm, all the fruits, vegetables, meats, everything. So we had a better diet. The problem with what they were cooking back then, they didn't cook it right. Too much grease, too much fat back, too much of everything, but it tastes good. Anytime you eating food with fat and sugar, that's what we have become accustomed to. So food don't taste good if you don't have the salt and all this other stuff in it. Well, I grew up without salt, and if I taste salt in my food, I'm done with it. It just don't taste good to me. It tastes briny because I'm not used to it. I season all my food with onion powder, garlic powder, tonics. Those other seasonings have enough salt in it for you not to use white table salt. It's definitely bad on Black people who have blood pressure problems. So I stay away from that. Okay. So, my grandparents, I told you, owned a little country grocery store, M.B. Brown Grocery, right there in the community. So everybody traded at the store. So we didn't have to really go to downtown Monroe for much of anything, because you could walk out your door into the store and get whatever you needed, most of the staples there. So we were a little bit more fortunate than most when it came down to having food always. There was never a shortage of food for the whole community. So, so where do I want to start with this? If you watch my video of my humble beginnings, you know that all of this is what I'm saying is true because I showed you the farm, I showed you the pad where the little store was and everything else. So in the 1980s and 90s, sugar became ubiquitous in all foods that we ate from the grocery store. Now, almost everything you go in the grocery store and get, whether you look at it or not, it's got sugar in it. And that's what's killing you. If you buy the ketchup, it's got sugar in it. Tomato paste, it's got sugar in it. Most of your canned foods, it's got some sugar in it. And they process on top of that. We eat too many processed meats. They're cured with sugar a lot of time. So you just don't imagine how much sugar you are taking into your body. Now I'm going to break it down to you and tell you some more about it, where you're going to understand how it is really hurting your internal organs. Yes, ma'am. It's not good. Not good at all. Um, Keep in mind, there are many different types of sugars out there. But the number one killer is that white granulated sugar. And they got so many. They got raw sugars out there. You got all kind of substitutes, but not those saccharins and all that stuff. You might as well have gone on use real sugar, because now that aspartame you finding out ain't good for you either. So you just got to learn to substitute the white granulated sugar for other types of sugars that have less calories and are less they're not as bad for your body as the other ones. So let's move on down the road. Um, so I'm trying to put all this into perspective so you can understand it, and I'm trying to go where I can stay within an hour, but it almost looks like I'm gonna have to do a two-part on this. So we have a natural disposition from child birth. I mean, as soon as the babies get here, you want to introduce sugar. Even in the baby food, you want to give them the sweet stuff first. If they never had it, they never would want it. You introduced it to them. Give them some peas and some meat. Don't give them the sweets and the fruits and all that stuff. And they don't know any better. But that's how we introduce sugar to the newborn baby that's coming out here in the world. So that's the predisposition of it. There are many ways to consume natural glucose sugars, which can come from fruit. Back in the day, you know, that is a way that people consumed a lot of sugar through the fruits, which is a natural sugar, which is much better for you than that processed refined sugar. We have to be careful not to consume too many carbs and starches because they turn into natural sugars. Breads, beer, all that stuff is going to eventually turn into sugar. Once it's metabolized by your body and it's processed in your digestive system, there's more sugar. So you have to just watch your diet. In other words, if you really don't want to be big, if you really don't want to be unhealthy, and you want to have some energy, because sugar is going to take you on a natural high and it's going to drop you flat on your butt. But we start out in the morning with donuts and coffee with sugar in them. By the time you get to work at 9 o'clock, you're ready to go home and take a nap. It's that sugar. Yeah. Other sugars come from processed foods that didn't even exist with our ancestors. They lived all their life and didn't have it. If you have think about your great grandparents, they had no refined sugar that they could go up in the store and buy. It wasn't there. And if it was too high for them to buy it. They couldn't afford it. Because, they were only making nickels and dimes working for the master. So we really don't stop to think or read how much sugar is in ketchup, tomato paste, cured meats, canned fruits, and less the added sugars that are in most foods. Most of your processed foods and the foods that you buy out are full of fat and sugar. Think about it. When we see ourselves with the bloated guts, that is too much consumption of sugar, breads, beer, and foods that turn into sugar. So I did a little thing, because you can usually pull people in with money. When you start talking about money and how much it costs, then they'll start looking at it ain't good for me. And look how much money I'm spending. So the normal person, one average person, uses about 152 pounds per year. Did you ever stop and think about that? Because I never did. When I researched that and I found out about that, I was like, how much? 152 pounds? That's like a person. You ate up enough sugar to build a whole body. Yeah. So you got to be overweight. You got to be unhealthy. I did more research. A 5-pound bag of sugar, if you divided the 152 pounds by 5, that's 30.4 pounds. 10 pounds would be half of that, which would be 15.2 pounds. And then you actually better off if you go and you buy a 25-pound bag, if you're going to use that much sugar, because it's cheaper than going in there buying the five here, 5 there. You spending more money that way. So I did a little research at Great Value. You know, that's Walmart. You can get a 25-pound bag of sugar at Walmart for $15.78 if it's Great Value. Now, if you go looking at Domino and Gasha and all these other brand names of sugar, you're going to pay more than that. For a 4-pound bag of sugar, you pay 73.5 cents a pound. $2.94 at Walmart. But if you go and get a name brand, and say you go to Sam's or Costco and you get the big old 25-pound bag of name brand sugar, you just fill your car up with gas, with sugar. That's $59.88. That's a lot of money just for sugar. And then with the price of food going up like it is, the price of gas going up like it is, you got to start watching that. It ain't going back down. Once it go up, it's not going back down. The farmers are making money. The grocery stores are making money. Everybody that got anything to do with food, they making money. So you just have to be more leery in this day and time of how you spending, because if your paycheck ain't going up to meet the needs of it, which none of our checks are going up to meet the cost of living, then you got to do something different at home. Bottom line, it is what it is. You'll do something different, or you'll end up broke when you get to be my age and you on a fixed income and you sitting out here in retirement and everything in the world and gone up. You prepared for it. You put in money in your 401k and you getting your checks coming in, and the cost of living is just eating them up, just taking it straight away from you. Be cautious of how you're spending your money. Due to some complicated, okay, wait a minute, let me go. The food companies have estimated and outsmarted us. So when we go into the stores, we read the labels, but if you notice, they never have granulated sugar on there. They have fructose, sucrose, glucose, all the different types of sugars. And you may not even be aware that they sugars if you have never taken any nutrition classes, or if you never really studied about nutrition, but it's there and you consuming too much of it. So that's how they fool us in the grocery store. Yeah, you looking at it, but what are you looking at? Are you looking at the total amount of sugar? That's what you really should be looking at on whatever you buy, is a total amount. Because if you don't know what all the sugars are, just look at the total amount of sugar and it's going to be too much. Okay. You're probably going to be consuming a week's worth of sugar in one day if you're not careful. So what I found is most people have a poor diet and are stuck in the way they think about it. And they going to say, oh, I got a sweet tooth. Ain't no such thing as no damn sweet tooth. That's just some stuff was made up and passed on down the line. God ain't gave you no sweet tooth. All your teeth are just alike. and we got to just stop and think, like, when the Atkins diet came around, That's basically the way we should be eating anyway, because it ain't nothing but meat and vegetables. And the diet worked because it ain't no sugar in there. It's no breads in there. It's very little fruit in there. And so that's how we should probably eat all the time. Just back away from all those things. You eat too many potatoes, you eat too much rice. All that stuff is turning to sugar eventually as it's digested. So I'm trying to stop, see where I'm gonna stop. Okay, wait, I've been on here 20. Okay, I'm gonna go 10 more minutes and then I'm gonna get into my chat. Okay, so where was I? And all our meats and vegetables are gonna have much less calories than your sugary food. Sugary food have a lot of calories in it. So naturally you're going to be bigger and you're going to have to watch your weight or you're going to gain weight. And then at our age, anybody over 40, your metabolism is slowing down. You're not out there as active and doing the dancing on the dance floor 2 or 3 hours like you used to in the clubs, and you're not running around here and there because the children are now big and they can drive themselves. So you're more sedentary. So you're going to sit there and eat the same amount of food and do less activities. How you going to burn it off? You're not. Mm-mm. Sugar suppresses our immune system. Without your immune system, your body will lose its fight. It's over. No more pulling up on anybody out here on these YouTube streets. Anybody out here talking about pulling up and they can do this and they can do that and they overweight and they gonna be tired before they even punch the first lick. That's why I don't listen to these folks out here. No ma'am, I ain't listening to you, because you're not gonna be able to stand up against a person who consumes less sugar and is underweight. It's not gonna happen. Mm-mm. And not at this age. Now you might have could have done that in your 20s and your 30s. If you pass 40, sit down somewhere. When you are sick or when it's cold outside, your body does not need sugar. Why? Because you have to remember that white flour turns into sugar. Did you know that? It's a starch. Yeah, it turns into sugar. What we do, we fry it with flour instead of baking it. Uh-huh. Um, Anything white that you eating, this is the best way to remember this. If you eating anything white in your diet, you shouldn't be having it. That's bread, that's potatoes, that's rice, that's sugar. Ms.V, you just took everything from us. I'm just saying, y'all grown. Y'all do what y'all want to. I just thought I'd share this information with you because I had to pull it all out of my diet because I figured out that's why Arthur was trying to ride me, and that's why Burr was trying to get on the side of me. You know arthritis and bursitis. Y'all act like y'all don't know. That's who's trying to get to me. No, he not. I'm going to pull this stuff out of my diet. I have been off of that now for a week. I ain't had no aches and no pains since the pain I had Sunday when I couldn't pull my dress over my head to go to church last Sunday. I did a whole week of it. Y'all should try it. See if it worked. And instead of going to the doctor talking about my shoulder hurt, my knee hurt, and this hurt and that hurt, try changing your diet. I promise it might make a difference, a big difference. So just remember that. Just take the white stuff out and be done with it. If you can't remember, like I say, just meats and vegetables, fruits, natural sugars, if you got to have sugars. Okay, it's just a little nutrition class this evening. That's all. And I'm sure all of y'all know what I'm talking about. Sugar actually paralyzes your immune system. And at a time when it's greatly needed in the cold weather, you need your immune system for your body to produce heat so you won't freeze to death. Stop overworking your organs. Sugar actually compromises the gut. It ruins the good bacteria in your gut called the microbiome. 80% of your immune system comes from the gut. The good bacteria is allowing the bad bacteria to take over because your immune system has been compromised. And living in this day and time, we don't need no compromised immune system. We just had COVID out there. Look at how many people died in that. Their immune systems couldn't take it. Look at the people who lived. See what I'm saying? And it's not going away. It's gonna always be out there. It's an airborne uh the COVID is airborne, just like a cold, pneumonia, anything else. I don't believe it'll ever go away. It'll always be out there. It's just that man has become smart enough to give you the shots, the boosters, and we wore the mask for a long time, but it's still out there. You still got people coming down with it. They just not dying because they've had something. They put a part of COVID in you to fight off the COVID. Now, same thing when you having those shots. Every year it's a different strand for the colds and the flus and stuff. And so they tell you to go get the shots. Me, myself, and I, when it comes down to those shots, a cold ain't never killed nobody. Flu ain't never killed nobody. But now, since the C is out there, you got to be careful because you don't know which one it is. It's the same kind of symptoms, aches and pains and all kind of stuff going on, just like the cold and the flu, the pneumonia. One just a little bit worse than the other one. So now pneumonia used to be the bad one. Now you got the C out there. You can't get away from it. Said there would be all kind of stuff happening, and we living in those times. They had stuff back in the Bible in those days, plagues and all kind of stuff going on back there. We got the same stuff. It's just a different time. That's all. I told you, different time, different people. You may also experience frequent urination at night, essentially waking you up at night. Well, you have been eating sugar all day, so your blood sugar elevates while you're sleeping at night, and it gets too high. So you got to get up and use the bathroom, when if you had consumed less and probably drink more water during the day to flush it in the day, you wouldn't have to wake up so much at night. I tried it. Last week, I didn't wake up at all at night. Try it. I challenge you. See if it works. You are literally working your body to death. While it's supposed to be resting and healing at night, you up going to the bathroom, then you come back from the bathroom, then it take you 10, 15 minutes, an hour to go back to sleep. So you losing rest. All in behind that number one killer. You won't see it much, like I say, before 40, but it's after 40 when that immune system starts breaking down, and when you become more sedentary and you're not as active as you used to be. That's when it's going to start happening. And I really didn't see a difference in me until, I'm going to be honest, last year. So I think a lot of it had to do with my diet, because I cooked at home most of my life. I'm not big on eating out because I don't know who cooked my food. I don't know if they washed their hands when they went to the bathroom. I don't know if they threw my food on the floor. And I told y'all I'm particular about what I put in my stomach now. I don't know. That's the voodoo to me, is what you putting in your body. That's the hoodoo right there. It ain't them roots and stuff that's gonna kill you. It's gonna be that stuff you putting in your body, and you killing your body all the time and talking about, ooh, this food is so good. You doggone right it's good. Full of grease and full of sugar. Full of flour, all the things that we really don't need. And I'm sure this is gonna go on deaf ears to most people, because you already know that. It's a choice. We have choices in life, whether you're gonna eat it or whether you're not gonna eat it. Some people just come out here with all kind of ailments and stuff, and they go to the doctor and they don't realize you're going to the doctor for all these different ailments, and they're giving you all these different medications, and you don't know if one medication is working against the other until you take it. That's why I don't like all this Western medicine. I got to find something else. This ain't working for me. The only way you would ever be able to capture uh the control of what your body is doing with the aches and pains and the failure of your organs is to control your diet and watch the whites that's going into your bodies. You ain't gonna have no problem with fresh vegetables. Leave them canned vegetables on the shelf. Pass them up. Go to the frozen food section if you can't buy them fresh. You ain't got to worry about your meats that much because now all the meats that's grown now are grown too fast. They shot up with steroids and all kind of stuff. So yeah, okay. So you don't eat beef, you don't eat pork anymore. Okay, but you eating chicken. Okay, you know them chickens growing off too fast. How chicken got only 2 wings, but they bringing them in by the caseloads. Come on now, think about all this stuff. So the first thing we want to do is blame whatever is happening to us, but we did it to ourselves. We got to stop. We got to stop. We got to think. Sugar feeds candida also, yeast. That's what it is. A yeast infection can not only be a vaginal yeast infection, it can be athlete's foot, it can be dandruff, it can be jock itch. So men and women both can have too much yeast in their body. Sugar, and all of it is going to be itchy, and it lies dormant until night, and that's when the yeast in your body wakes up and it wants to be fed. So it feeds off of the sugar you have put into your body that is turned into glucose by the time it's digested. See how all this stuff is working together. So you tend to crave sugar, carbs, and sweet things because of the yeast. The yeast wants to be fed, and the parasites that have entered in your body. Our attention span is about 45 minutes, and I have come on 31 minutes. So I want to talk about how it affects your kidneys also, and how it will affect your liver. These are the 2 organs in the body that you have to have to excrete waste from your body. So you know that the kidneys remove the uric acid. So when it stops functioning, the next step is dialysis. Who wants to be on dialysis? Whether you're going to a clinic to have it done or whether you're doing home dialysis, it ain't no fun draining your body and putting fluids back in your body. It's wear and tear. And if you're not eating right, you're not drinking the right amount of water, and then you limited on how much you can have. That's not good. So now we know it works against the kidneys. We know it works against developing yeast in your body and parasites. It's just people, it's just no good. We got to find something to substitute it. Like I say, look in the stores and find they got all kind of sugars out there. Find you another type of sugar other than a white processed granulated sugar. So when you're drinking the pops or the sodas or the what else you might call them, pops, sodas, cold drinks, whatever you call them, you know how many calories them Cokes and stuff have, them almost 300. And most of those calories that you get are going to be oh Lord, this phone is acting up, coming from sugar. So now do you believe that it's killing you, or you still need me to convince you a little bit more that you're dying from it, huh? Yeah, this plug or something is not working. So I'm gonna take this phone in here because I'm down to 4% and charge it up in another room and see what's going on in there. Lord, I can't wait to get out of here. Hang with me, hang with me. And then I'm gonna get into my comments. And then you got it working on the liver. So you got fatty acids of your liver. Now it's supposed to be charging. And that's another problem with your liver. It can't function like it needs to. And you got to have both of these things. So that's 2 major organs that is working on right there. So let me get into the comments and see what y'all are saying in the comments, because I'm up on 34 minutes now. Okay. Hey, Sting, how you doing? I spoke to you, Kim. Hey, Catherine lives in pieces. Myra, Prince, Dominique Lewis, how you doing? And welcome to Chatting with Ms.V this afternoon. Hey, DeGale, how you doing? Glendine. Jennifer Thomas, thank you so much for the roses and the hearts. Hey, Bad Bougie. Tawana, Good evening. How are you? Welcome to Chatting with Miss V. Hey, the real Brooklyn. I want to see what you said, the real Brooklyn. Y'all still speaking up here, so I'm gonna move on down. I'm trying to get to what y'all think about what we were talking about, how sugar is killing us. They have a weight problem. They can't wait to eat. Yes, Prince. And it's because of what they're eating. They're addicted to it. Sugar is just as addicting, sugar and salt, as any drug out there. If you stuck on it, you gotta have it. You think. Hey Fanny, how you doing? Sugar and sodium. Yes, ma'am, Catherine. Sodium is salt. For those of you who may not know what the sodium is, it's killing us. And they both are white, aren't they? So to get white foods out your system. Sugar comes a lot of inflammation in the body. Exactly, Prince. You are so right. I'm originally from Barbados. Oh, well, you know about the sugar fields and all of that, Glendine. Thank you for telling me. So I do have somebody in here from Barbados. So we're going to a good place, huh? So we can talk about all the sugar, how it's manufactured over there and everything. Because I got to do a little research. Unless, Glendine, you want to come up on live stream with Miss V and talk about it, you're welcome. Since you originally are from there, you would be a great candidate to come in and talk about it. Hey, Shonda Thoughts, welcome to Chatting with Ms. V this evening. Okay, let me move on down here. Let's see. Myra says, please hit the like button. Okay, thank you, Myra. Hi, Carolyn, how you doing? Hey, Legend, how you doing? Jam Jam. Deborah Silver, good evening, good evening. Hey, Beverly B, first time in, y'all. Welcome to her to Chatting with Miss V. We chose the topic sugar killing our bodies, the number one killer of your organs, inflammation, parasites. It's just not good, people. We got to get away from it. Let's see. I'm getting on down here. I'm trying to see. Y'all still speaking? Hold it, hold it. I'm going to find another comment here. All right. Okay, Myra, have a good evening. Okay. Hey, Thankful for Life. How you doing? And welcome to Chatting with Miss V. Vicky Gale say, I'm in the building. Hello, sister in chat. How you doing, Vicky Gale? Miss V is doing fine this afternoon. Thanks for asking. Sugar cane. Yes. That's where the sugar originates from, is a sugar cane. You're correct. And what I also saw was a lot of rum was produced in Barbados also, and it has sugar in it also. Hey, Asia, how you doing? We left Hong Kong, baby. We headed for Barbados now. You better get on the ship. Too late, Ms. V. I am already addicted to sugar. It's never too late, Jam Jam. You can do it. You just have to find you some raw sugar or a guave or something else to replace that sugar. It's still going to be sweet. And eventually, it's like any kind of habit you're trying to break. It's going to take you 14 to 21 days to break that habit. But just try something else in the place of it. You don't have to have it. I promise. It wasn't too hard for me because I don't really like sweet stuff. I don't. And I hate salt. I hate salty food. Jam Jam say, I'm good. How are you? Okay, you speaking to Asia. All right. Hey, Susie, Miss Susie, how you doing? Glendine say, I appreciate this information. Well, thank you. I'll be trying to find topics away from the YouTube street that affect everybody coming into the chat. We're all guilty of it. We all need to watch the same thing. I mean, we can't come out here and all talk about the same thing. Somebody got to talk about something different. And my channel is supposed to be educational. So I'll be trying to look for different topics that's inspirational, motivational, and education. I'm going to bring you some humor, because it wouldn't be me, like I say. Hey, Amy, how you doing? Okay. Trying to get on down the line. So, Glendine, tell me, do you want to come on Chatting with Miss V on StreamYard and talk to me and the folks? How you doing, Beverly B? Raw honey is a better sweetener for your drinks. Exactly. There's another one. Raw honey. But also, when you look for the raw honey, I've researched this and they say always get the honey from the area that you live in. It's better for your immune system because the bees made the honey combs there in your area. So, like, I live in Houston. I would be looking for some type of honey that's made around here in the Texas area. Okay. And preferably South Texas, because I live in South Texas. I'm a Gulf Coast baby. Hey, I'm back. Look at here. Y'all, I'm sick of this phone. I'm sick of all of it. I'm sick of the internet. I'm sick of this house. I'm sick of everything about this place. Look at it. It kicked me off. I had to come out to the car, turn on the car, get some more charge. The plugs ain't working in there. I'm sick of it. But let's get back to the sugar, okay? Where was I? Jam Jam was talking about she addicted. It's too late. I'm glad y'all stayed in here. Y'all know now Ms.V having issues with the sugar. And so give you information more so than reading in the chat, Lisa. That's what I try to do. It's hard to try to give you information and keep up with the chat because y'all be really talking. And if you notice, when you have like 700 people in the chat, like Sharita and DJ do, they can't read every comment. And the more people you get in, you're not gonna be able to read every comment. But I'm trying because I haven't reached that uh ladder where they are with that many people in the chat. Hey, Dorothy Burns, good evening to you. Good conversation and informational. Thank you. Loving Me Tracy says hi to Prince. Okay, Florida Red. We know all this, but yet let our taste buds rule. Exactly. It's mind over matter. That's what it is, Florida Red. I know sugar isn't good for our bodies, but it's definitely an addiction when we have been eating it all of our lives. Exactly. We were introduced to it as babies in baby food, the sugary peaches and stuff. And they're adding it's natural. The natural fruit should just be cooked down, and that's it. But I do believe they're adding some. I never stopped to look at the baby stuff, and I haven't had a baby in 42 years, but I'm sure there's some sugar added to it because it's too sweet. Hey, chapter 46, how you doing? Hey, ooh, baby, your first name, Ray J? Did I get it right? Shaquille? Shaquille? You're speaking some truth. Well, thank you, sweetie. I appreciate you. Lord, y'all coming in here with all these names. Y'all want Miss V to pronounce. Blue True One. Hey, first time in, y'all showing love. We can't hear you, Miss V. Okay, I'll turn it up then. Okay. Hold on. Can you hear me now? Like sound like the Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, I got it all the way up. I hope you can hear me. Been working, so now I don't know if it's my look middle of May. So we're probably hitting up in the high 80s. Burn up. Glendine say, I left Barbados when I was 8 years old, so I'm not too familiar with the history of sugar there. I do know about all the sugar cane that grows there and the molasses plant there. That's another sweetener too, is molasses, a natural sweetener. Okay. Yeah, you be better to get the sugar cane itself and just get the natural sugar out the sugar cane. But I don't see anywhere around here where they even grow sugar cane anymore. So it's got to be coming from over in the Caribbean somewhere and imported in here now. I know when I was living in Baltimore, that's home of Domino Sugar. So they actually process and make sugar there in that refinery, and they employ a lot of people there. Okay. Myra, I thought you was gone. Uh, I am Michelle for Light. Good evening. How you doing? Okay. Y'all speaking. Okay. Lisa Parker. Okay. Myra, we have some visitors this evening. Okay. Why would a troll want to come over when you're trying to tell them something that's going to make them live longer or live better and I don't get people. It's over my head. Hey, Marissa, how you doing? Oh my God, I was going crazy laughing. I am back. Hey, no, I'm back. You didn't leave. It was me that left because of whatever's going on here at this house with the phone and all that stuff. I don't know. So Ray, well, those health issues are very touchy as I have a baby brother and his wife of 14 years dealing with those health issues. Very touchy. Yes. And hate to say it, but we have to watch if we are doing this to ourselves or if this is just something natural in our bodies that was just weakened from birth, just in our DNA. That's the way I have to look at that. Okay. And I'm sorry to hear that. I hope I pronounced your name right. Ray. Okay. Hey, Pierre, how you doing this afternoon? Jewel Duncan Beverly says, happy Monday, happy belated Mother's Day to everyone. And members in the chat, thank you. Okay. Now I'm down to the end of the chat. And y'all told me I was behind. Okay, Raisin Orion, good evening. How are you doing? I'm late, but I'm here and hit the doorbell on the way in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I think what YouTube does is when you have a break in your video like that, they splice it together because I've had a break before and when it came across in the replay, there was no break in it. So hopefully this will happen this time. Okay. Jules is speaking to everybody. So we coming up on our hour anyway. So I hope that we got something from this information to help us. It's like Florida Red say, we all know this. We need reminders of this, especially as you aging like we all are. Everybody's getting older every day. I don't care what age you are. And some of our immune systems were better than others from birth. That's why people die of things young. I had a nephew. I think I told, no, I didn't. I didn't tell y'all about him. He was 26 years old. He died of liver failure. He's going into, it will be 2 years, I believe, coming up at 26 years old. He had 3 liver transplants before he passed away. And the first liver took and it was okay. And he was born with this disposition of his liver failing. And it started failing when he was around 15 or 16 years old. I think he had his first transplant somewhere around 17, 18 years old, just before he left high school. Then he had his second one and his third one almost back to back. And every liver that he got would last only, the first one lasted the longest. Then the second one from liver failure at a young age. So you can't blame that on him with the overproduction of sugar. That was something in his immune system that just his liver couldn't fight back like it was supposed to, but it didn't show up until he was 15 years old. Okay. Thank you, Myra. You said that was great information on the sugar. Thanks. Yeah, like I say, I try to come up with something that affects all of us, and hopefully, you'll get something out the message. If nothing else, if it's not gonna change, maybe a little bit for them. When you bringing these new babies into the world, watch what you introduce them to, because that's what they're gonna get addicted to. Sad but true. Jules say, I'll be blessed and take care. And I'm going to also sign off on this note. I want all of y'all to have a blessed evening. I will be back in the morning at 10 o'clock. And we're going to start off with, we might touch into this again if I find out any more information, because I didn't find out enough about how it affects the liver. So I'm going to look tonight and see if I can find out. I know the fat around the liver affects the liver, but I want to also find out more about how sugar affects the liver. And we'll touch on that, and then we'll hit on a new topic in the morning. Hey, Lily, how you doing? Welcome to Chatting with Miss V. You'll have to catch the replay. Miss V tries to stay on here an hour, and that way the replay is not so long when people have to come back and look at it, because you got those ads in there too when you watch the replay. But I thank all of you for coming in this afternoon and putting up with my phone and all the stuff I got going on. Bear with me. I promise in another month, I'm out of here. And hopefully where I'm going, it should be just fine. So y'all take care. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you in the morning at 10 o'clock. Be blessed. Until then, bye-bye.